Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Hardcore Challenge Live. I am the commish, Ben Klein, and thank you for joining us again. Tonight's edition is the Week 2 recap. Obviously, week ended last night with Monday Night Football, obviously not a such stellar game, depending on, I guess, which end of the spectrum you were for last night's game. Then obviously Tuesday morning is the start of a new fantasy week. So everybody woke up this morning, checked the standings, see how the game shook out, final scores, what have you. So it was another very interesting week, week 2, and let's get into the recap. First, we'll start with the upset of the week. Not really a glaring upset of the week jumps out at me, but one that I think warrants it is Vandelay Industries taking down Johnsonville Brats. A narrow victory, but scoring 155 is a solid score. That's back-to-back wins in the Great White North in division, and they are sitting at 2-0 and sole possession early out of the gate. I think that's a big upset win for them. I had them predicted to be in the cellar, dead last in that division, and they have come out surprisingly on fire, knocking off Johnsonville and I Am Groot out of the first 2 weeks of the season. Pretty impressive start. What's also shocking, while we're talking Great White North, is Skull Crushers, who came out last week, won the game of the week, looked like giant killers, like a team to watch out for, and absolutely came out and posted a stellar 112 this week. Losing to I Am Groot, big, and didn't really put up a fight like they thought they were going to be showing, that they would be showing week to week after that showing in week 1. They didn't back it up in week 2, so curious to see what they bring out in week 3. I predicted Skull Crushers to win this division. I mean, they are still 1-1. Obviously, one bad week does not make a season in the NFL or fantasy football. So, no reason to get too excited yet, but definitely want to keep an eye on that. Shocking team of the week is an easy one for me. Pale Horseman, I am shocked, is sitting at the number 1 power ranking in the league. Pale Horseman has only ever made the playoffs in 2012 when they were a co-owner of DeGents with the current owner of, well, actually it's not DeGents anymore. What is it? They changed their name to They See Me Rollin'. Well, I guess we'll see. They See Me Rollin'. Okay. Nice. We'll see. So Pale Horseman doesn't have a history since they became a solo owner. They have never made the playoffs. They haven't had a lot of success. To see them come out of the gate, I'd pick them for towards the bottom of this division, and they also have come out with 2 back-to-back big wins in division, and are sitting at number 1 in the power ranking, moving up 8 spots this week. So they're definitely one of the shocking teams. Definitely for that weekend, out of the gate, period, coming into this season. That's 3 divisions now that have a 2-0 sole possession leader of the division. That's odd this early out of the gate, that there's already a little separation at the top. All 3 of those division winners have won all of their games in their own division. So both of their wins are huge. So for them to be 2-0 and sitting in sole possession, that's a stellar start. One of the other big notes, I guess, out of week 2 is obviously the amount of injuries to key players. We see Adrian Peterson going down. There's several other injuries to key players as well. That's going to affect the waiver wire in fantasy. There's going to be a lot of running backs coming off the board. Quite a few injuries to running backs this week. Quite a few injuries to starting quarterbacks going down. The shuffle will begin. The waiver wire roulette you'll start definitely seeing some action on there. Let's next get into recapping our game of the week. The game of the week ended up being a fairly close game. So I like to see the game of the weeks be. Sometimes you'll see one team just prove how much better they are than the other and absolutely smash the other. But the games of the weeks have this one 131 to 122. I predicted it wrong. I said Cheesehead would win. Should have known. You know, try to build him up, give him a little confidence. You know, think somebody believes in him. Then, what happens? They lose. They blew it. That's what I get. That's what I get for backing Cheesehead. So they're 1-1. And, well, I'm sure they were really would have liked to got the 5 points that Janikowski missed. That was basically like missing a touchdown. That 5 points would have got big. With a 9-point loss, that would have put them right up in there. Pretty much, it Hyde really killed him. Sanders really killed him, and it was really the big combination, which I did pick for the advantage for Bison Broncos because I thought the combination of Mike Evans and Brandon Marshall was going to blow up, which I was correct on that account, and I was correct on a few of the other accounts, but. Nobody picked Walker from Tennessee at tight end to go for 20, and I did predict Flacco to lighten it up against Cleveland, and I kind of gave them the advantage there. So in my advantages, I was kind of right. I was wrong in my overall pick, but that's what I get for going with Cheesehead. They've never won anything. Why would I think they were going to win? I put them in game of the week in week 2, and look, come on, they come out 122. So I predicted that one wrong. I'm 1-1 so far in game of the week predictions. Don't be mad, Corey. You should have. I don't know what. I picked you to win. You let me down. I'm gonna have a hard time putting you back in game of the week. You have to string together some wins now. Never again, I tell you. All right, one more note I wanted to bring up since I sent out an email to everybody. I'm sure most of you got it about the injured reserve spot. Obviously, the injured reserve spot that we decided to vote in this year, we had voted in as a change prior to me dropping at the Hardcore Challenge address the change that we're going to implement next year. So it was a new rule that was voted in. We wanted to keep it on the books because we wanted to have it out there so everybody can get used to having the spot and how you're supposed to properly use it. So you have 6 bench spots. There's an extra 7th spot, which is a reserve spot. That reserve spot can only be used for a player listed on injured reserve in the NFL. IR. If there's not an IR after their name, don't put them down in that spot. They can't go there. PUP is not IR. Suspended is not IR. Just being injured is not IR. IR. That's all it's for. Now, obviously, if they're on IR, they're probably out for the freaking season. So you putting them down there in that reserve spot is probably going to do absolutely no good this season because we're not having keepers carrying over to the next season because we're having the draft lottery and that. So, yes, I understand that the IR spot really doesn't give anybody any huge advantage this season. However, we already had one guy do it wrong. I already had to go correct his roster for him. So somebody's trying to use it. We just need to get everybody to use it properly. So there is a 7th reserve spot. 7th bench spot, a reserve spot. Only can be used for IR. That's it. 3rd wide receiver next year. Now you're just talking crazy. 2 running backs. We have a flex spot. We'll discuss that. That's for another time. All right. So, other than that, that's really about it for what I see. Week 2 was another crazy week. It's just odd to see such separation at the top already. 3 sole possession. And, So it's just another exciting week. Some really close games. Really close games. Tama Tears also sitting in first place, the Wild West. They are the defending division champion. Won on the squeaky tiebreaker over Stinky Pinky last season. And they've come out 2 division wins out of the gate. So, looking at the matchups coming out for next week, there are definitely some interesting matchups, and I'm having a hard time picking who the game of the week's going to be. So make sure you guys tune back in tomorrow, and we'll do the game of the week breakdown and go over the game of the week. And remember, I've seen a lot of trades getting kicked around out there. 48 hours from the minute they get posted to my inbox, it takes to be approved. So make sure you have that in mind if you guys are working any trades out there. There's no exception on the 48-hour waiting period for trades. Remember, tomorrow night's show, Game of the Week edition. We'll pick a game of the week. We'll break it down. We'll see if I can predict who that winner is. They don't let me down like Cheesehead let me down last week. I was going to try and run the table and pick them all right, but I'm 1-1. So we'll see how I do next week predicting the game of the week. Week 3's on the horizon, folks. Get your waiver wires in. They'll be hitting tomorrow. You ready for the challenge this week? Good luck. Game on.